Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, September 10, 2022. And giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Iowa State vs Iowa. The annual state rivalry game is here. Iowa State lost plenty of firepower on last year's potent defense, including QB Brock Purdy. They still have a good offense, but it's not as strong as last year. Iowa has an elite defense that was one of the best in the Big Ten last year and could be even better this season. Furthermore, Iowa State has not been able to solve the Hawkeyes, losing in each of the last 5 years. Last year, the Cyclones has one of the best defensive units in the Big 12 and only managed 17 points against the Hawkeyes' vaunted defense. While Iowa's offense struggled last week, they should be much better after a week of action. The Cyclones gave up 222 passing yards against a SE Missouri team that plays at the FCS level. Iowa has an experienced QB in Spencer Petras, who was under center when the Hawkeyes beat the Cyclones 27-17 last year. Our team pick is Iowa Hawkeyes minus 3.5 points. The Cyclones scored 42 points in their last game, but they were facing an overwhelmed FCS school. This week, they are facing an Iowa team that dominated defensively last season and are expected to be better this year. They gave up only 3 points in their last game and they held the Cyclones under 20 points in 5 of their last 6 games, so don't expect them to score a lot of points in this game. The Hawkeyes had one of the worst defenses in the country last season and they seem to have picked up where they left off, managing to score 7 points in their first game. And NBSP. Even though they will play better in this game with their starting running back in the lineup, Petras has been inconsistent under center and turnover prone. The Cyclones have a great pass defense and will make life miserable for him, so expect them to keep the Hawkeyes from scoring enough points to push the score over the total. The Cyclones and Hawkeyes played under the total in 4 of their last 5 meetings. Our total pick is under 39.5 points. Virginia vs Illinois. Virginia had a tougher than expected time in their season opener, but managed to start the Tony Elliott era on a positive note by knocking off Richmond at home. The Cavaliers now look to improve to 2-0 on the season as they travel to face a fellow Power 5 program. Against Richmond, Virginia trailed 7-0 only to tie the game only 31 seconds later to jumpstart 21 unanswered points. The Cavaliers never let their lead drop below 11 the rest of the way to ensure the victory. Virginia held a 505-330 advantage in total offense, picked up 29 first downs while allowing a total of 20, and held a 32-48-27-12 edge in time of possession. That helped the Cavaliers overcome the fact that they committed the only 2 turnovers in the game. Virginia has an explosive dual-threat quarterback that is capable of putting up big numbers in Armstrong, something we saw him do last season on multiple occasions. That could well be the difference between these 2 teams. DeVito has probably thrown more than Illinois would have liked in the first 2 weeks of the season, but the fact remains that he can't make plays with his legs the way Armstrong can. The Fighting Illini will have to rely on a heavy dose of Brown in this one, but even playing at home, that may not be enough here. I'm inclined to take the points and the guy who can make plays when a team needs it, as opposed to one that has to plod along methodically to put points on the board. Go with Virginia with the points in this one. Our team pick. Virginia Cavaliers plus 4.5 points. Last week, the Cavaliers started the season with a fresh face at the head coaching position. Former Clemson offensive coordinator Tony Elliott coached in his first career game as a head coach. He guided Virginia to a 34-17 win over FCS Richmond. Starting quarterback Brennan Armstrong continues to be the most important weapon for the Cavaliers. Armstrong, a senior, broke the all-time total yards record after his performance against the Spiders. He has accumulated 8,071 career yards. Armstrong threw 21 of 33 for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also threw 1 interception. He was equally as good on the ground. Armstrong went for 105 yards on 10 carries. His biggest highlight was when he peeled over a 64-yard run for a touchdown in the second quarter. Both teams have the capabilities of popping off for long yards, like Armstrong's long rushing touchdown against Richmond or Illinois' last touchdown against Indiana, where they drove the ball 41 yards in a minute and a half. Too many times did these offenses stall out. Illinois scored on only 4 of the 14 possessions against Indiana. Virginia scored on 5 of its 12 possessions against Richmond. For Illinois, the under is 4-0 in their last 4 games following an against the spread loss. The under is 4-0 for Virginia in their last 4 games against the Big Ten. Our total pick is under 57.5 points. Akron vs Michigan State. The Akron Zips started the new season with a 30-23 overtime victory against St. Francis, Red Flash. Playing as firm 17-point home favorites, the Zips struggled to cope with the expectations and nearly avoided a huge upset. Sophomore RB Cam Wiley led the way for Akron with 21 carries for 84 yards and a couple of scores, including the game-winning TD in overtime, while Tyson Durant's interception sealed the victory. The Michigan State Spartans enter Week 2 as the number 15 in the country. Last Friday, they defeated the Western Michigan Broncos 35-13 and covered a 21.5-point spread in front of the home fans. The Spartans had a 21-3 lead at halftime, allowing the Broncos to cut the deficit to just 8 points by the end of the third quarter. The Spartans shouldn't have any problems beating the Zips, though covering a massive 34-point spread might be a problem. On the other hand, it's tough to back the Zips, who just avoided a huge upset in the opening week and are 0-5 at TS in their last 5 showings as underdogs of 30 or more points. Furthermore, Akron is 1-8 at TS in its last 9 games played in September and 0-7-1 at TS in its previous 8 showings in Week 2. I'm expecting the Spartans to control the clock much better than they did against Western Michigan in Week 1. Their ground game will be too much for the Zips to handle, and Akron's run D already struggled in the opener. Last year, the Zips were surrendering a thumping 248.9 rushing yards per game, 6.2 yards per carry, and 13.2 first downs by rush. Our team pick is Michigan State Spartans minus 34 points. The Zips began new head coach Joe Moorhead's tenure with a win over FCS opponent St. Francis. Akron needed overtime to secure the 30-23 victory at home on Thursday, September 1st. With a long layover, Akron has had time to look over their mistakes as they won their 3rd game in 2 seasons. DJ Irons started at quarterback for the Zips as he completed 22 of 37 passes for 286 yards. He ended the day with 2 touchdowns. One of the scores fell in the hands of Jacques Lewis, who finished with 8 catches for 122 yards. Jacques Lewis will be a key player for the Zips against Michigan State. If Akron can get the ball in his hands, the chains can move in the right direction. On 3rd down is where Akron struggled. They went 4-15 from that mark as the Red Flash were able to hold the Zips. The rushing game did not help Akron in short yardage situations. They ended with 98 rushing yards against the FCS team, which equal to 3 yards per carry. As the offense has some kinks to work through, the defense for Michigan State played well. Defensive end Jacoby Windmon won the Walter Camp Defensive Player of the Week award for his performance in the win. He had 4 sacks against Michigan State, which was the most for a Spartan since 2003. The UNLV transfer was also able to force a fumble. The Spartans' defense allowed 334 yards of offense, but struggled to get stops in key places. Western Michigan went 6 of 18 on 3rd down and 2 for 3 on 4th down. That will need to be cleaned up as the season progresses for head coach Mel Tucker's squad. The Spartans will be in the end zone all night, but Akron is going to have a tough time moving the ball. The under is 7-2 in Akron's last 9 games against the Big Ten. For Michigan State, the under is 5-1 in their last 6 games after allowing less than 20 points in their previous game. Expect Akron to score 10 points or less versus a much better Michigan State squad. Our total pick is under 55.5 points.